Dr. Anthony Harper here in Jerusalem. Blessed to be with David Bedein, and David has been an investigative journalist for 37 years. I wanted, David, for you to explain your role here in Washington, D.C., what's been going on, investigative journalism regarding Israel and whatever.
My focus as an investigative journalist is on UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. 37 years we've warned that UNRWA would incite the whole country in a revolution because what they're being taught in their schools, and the schools are not paid for by the Arabs, they're paid for by Western countries and by the U.S. And what we have shown is that they were preparing themselves for a war, and that's what we're seeing right now. It's not a war just from a few people on the side. It's a war funded by all the Arab nations and all the Western nations, especially Germany, the UK, and the US. Now, what we have done has been to go to the Palestinian schools, which are located in the 59 UNRWA camps, and find out what they're teaching. We film their schools. We also look at their school books, and we brought the school books to the attention of Senator James Risch, who at the time in the late 1990s was the head of the subcommittee that dealt with these issues, and then became the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. And thanks to Senator Risch, we got to President Trump, and President Trump actually cut off UNRWA. And what is happening today is directly connected to our work. The U.S. allocated an amazing amount of money to UNRWA, but they're not giving them the money because Trump and now even Biden put in restrictions that you can't get the money until you stop the incitement in the schools. And guess what? They're not getting the money. Who is getting the money to give the money to UNRWA? Germany, the UK, Switzerland, and a host of other Arab nations. Now, what we're doing now is a whole process with the donor nations to UNRWA to provide them with genuine grassroots material that we get from the UNRWA camps and show them exactly what they're teaching. Now, the reason why it doesn't go very far is UNRWA have very, very major PR firms working for them to try to say that they have a peace curriculum. Well, it's false. They have no peace curriculum. They have one purpose in mind. That purpose is full-scale war with the Jews. Now, why is this? This is not a secret. As a matter of fact, whereas Germany, in its incitement, they try to keep it quiet. They try to downplay it and say make sure they wouldn't get in trouble. They do not downplay anything. The reason that our work succeeds, and now with the summer camps this summer, we've been doing their summer camps every summer since 2009, and on June 20th. 2024, they're starting new summer camps where the kids are taught everything having to do with what they call the right of return by force of arms. And when you look at our website, IsraelBehindTheNews.com, you'll see exactly what they're learning. Now, this should shock the whole world. Well, it doesn't shock the world enough. This is something that we have to bring to the attention of everyone, whether they're pro-Israel, not Israel. That's not the issue, pro-Israel or anti-Israel. The issue is being taught a school curriculum which is based on murdering Jews. I had trouble believing it until we got a hold of some of their school books, which actually praise people who have murdered Jews as the role model for the kids. That never existed in Nazi Germany. It was understood that they should be killing Jews, but not from the top, not orders from the top, and that's what we've been proving. So all I can say is there are people. There's a guy named Dr. Anthony Harper who, as a journalist in Washington, has pushed this issue in kind of a lonely way. Not many people pushing it, and it's become a mainstream issue now in the U.S. Congress and in every European Parliament. What's going to happen? Why? Because there's been a full-scale war going on in the last 7 months, which was basically incited from the UNRWA camps, and we proved that. We proved that by making 25 movies on the ground to show exactly what's going on. It's not something that stopped. So all I can say is we have to keep our ears and nose to the ground in UNRWA. I, as an investigative journalist, and my colleague, Dr. Anthony Harper, out there asking tough questions at the White House. This has to continue. The issue of investigating, asking questions, and the rumor they're spreading is, we changed the curriculum. Yes, the curriculum is worse. And that's something you can see the actual books on the homepage of our website, IsraelBehindTheNews.com, IsraelBehindTheNews.com. See a first curriculum that never existed anywhere in the world, curriculum teaching the concept that you must learn to murder Jews, and that's not something that you can take lightly. And I urge everyone who sees this movie to wake up, and to wake up the people who represent you in parliaments abroad, in the U.S. Congress, and in the White House, and to say this is not acceptable. Is a how shall I say? It's not enough to say it. You have to do it. So all I can say is, God is with us in Israel. That we have friends abroad, we have people who will listen to us, but you first have to bring the truth, and the truth will make you free. And that's all I can say. As a journalist covering this for 37 years, UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, their theme is supposed to be peace begins here, except their actuality is war against the Jews begins there. This is David Bedein reporting from Jerusalem, and with a pleasure to be welcomed here at a hotel to make the case for the truth, for people to know the truth about what's happening. Thank you.
David, I know you have a website for a lot of information. What is that again?
IsraelBehindTheNews.com. And one of our great scoops was when Israel Television put on the question that Dr. Anthony Harper asked at the White House about how could it be that there would be a video of an UNRWA classroom where the children are learning the art of killing Jews. And that was put to the White House. They didn't know what to say, and then we gave him the book, which actually showed the picture of a woman who had murdered 36 Jews, and he asked about it, and the White House avoided the question. But there's no reason why any of you can avoid, the people who are watching this program can avoid this question. And basically what happened was, after the question was asked, then it began a snowball all over the place on this issue, to make sure that, I had a social work professor whose name was Professor Eliezer Jaffe, used to say, a problem is a problem when someone makes it into a problem. And Dr. Harper at the White House made it into a problem, and it got on Israel television, and it eventually caused the President of the United States to cut off UNRWA, and now it's still off because they made requirements. Trump made requirements that affect the situation today. The requirement was, you want money from the U.S., stop a curriculum of murder. And that has continued, whereas while the U.S. has pulled back, Germany has come in. Now, Germany has a certain history in encouraging murder, doesn't it? Well, that's one of the things we can learn, that certain things are not new under the sun. Thank you.
גם בארצות הברית התקיימה אתמול שעת שאלות של עיתונאים במסגרת תדריך של דובר הבית הלבן. בין השמות שעלו שם היו גם שמותיהם של כמה חברי כנסת ישראלים. הנה.
Israel leaders in the Knesset, I'm aware of, are concerned about the misuse of U.S. tax dollars going to UN schools that are inciting kids to violence against the Jews. MK leaders Sharon Haskell, Yehuda Glick, and Dr. Eliza Levy. I met recently, had interviews with them. Their concerns are very serious, so they would want to know what President Trump, or how he would respond to the misuse of these.
Well, I think I would go back to what I said to John a minute ago, which is that I think he has tremendous respect for how tax dollars are spent. But then I would mention again, we need a UN ambassador. We need a Secretary of State. There's a lot of these things that can start to happen under the direction of the new leadership that's being held up right now.